Throughout my career, I've used a host of different cameras, and today we're testing all of them. I want to see how much the image quality in my cameras has improved and the functionality of them since the start of my career way back when. So what are we testing? Let me show you. This is not a like-for-like test, obviously. We're testing the kit I used at the time. We're testing it in two scenarios. We're going to do a high ISO test, a real world one, not just bang it as high as it goes and see. We're just going to shoot a picture of the studio. We've got window light. We're going to have these modeling lamps, and you can see behind me yonder. And a bit of mixed lighting, different shadows, highlights, all the rest of it. And we're going to do a traditional studio shot. This is my first camera. Now, I didn't ever own this. I borrowed this from my friend Hitesh. I used to work for him. It's a 1DS Mark II with a 24-70L. This was the holy grail. And just listen to this. Oh, beautiful. The screen was horrific. You could barely see anything. But I mean, it feels like a tank. This one's in mint condition. This one's actually been sold. It's going away, so this is my last chance to do this. Now, the camera that made my career is this one here, and is literally this one. This is number one. This is the only one I still own. I had 5 of these. I ragged them, but this was always, I mean, it's cracked at the back. It's pretty disgustingly dirty. I've got the 100mm 2.8 ultrasonic lens on it, which I don't believe is mine either, actually. And this camera I love. This made me my money, this made my career, this made my portfolio. I was shooting on this well after mirrorless came out. These are brilliant cameras. I love them. Shutter noises. It's all right. It's not as good as the 1DS, but it's better than a mirrorless, that's for darn sure. Build quality is obviously good. I mean, look at the state of this thing. This has seen some hard times. It's held together with tape and super glue. It's a beast. This is everything. Then we went into my first exotic camera after that. It was a 5DSR, high megapixel, with a Zeiss mirrorless lens. This camera here is still used today for my shoots. The shutter sounds rubbish compared to the previous two. It's really silent and dampened. I'm sure that means it's better, but it sounds awful. The lens, this is my favorite lens I've ever owned. This Zeiss mirrorless 100mm. We still use it for our video campaigns. It is beautiful. Great build quality, brilliant bit of kit. It's been dropped twice, repaired 3 times. I love it. This camera here was used up until last year for everything. It's still used for my portrait work because I like an optical viewfinder, but it is a bit old. It is getting on, it's getting long in the tooth. It's definitely not considered a good bit of kit today. And of course, my final bit of kit that I can't hold because it's on a salon stand is my Fuji GFX 100S with the Mamiya Secor lenses and the Cambo MV body. That thing is a unit. It is the ultimate in still life photography at its price point. You have to spend considerably more to get something slightly better. I always go for best bang for buck, but of course that's all relative, isn't it? It depends on how much buck you've got and how much bang you need. These have all been great cameras. All of them today can still be used for professional work. No questions asked. You can turn up the 1DS and you can do a photo shoot. Absolutely. Probably wouldn't shoot a billboard campaign on it for worldwide usage, but anything below that, for sure. 5D Mark II, the same. Anything below worldwide billboards, I'd probably say that's fine. The 5DSR, shoot anything on it, and the Fuji, of course, it can do anything. Let's do the testing, and then we'll get onto the computer, and we'll see what we've learned, what we've lost, what we've gained, and what's worked well for us. Welcome to the test environment part 1. I'm only going to test this in 2 different ways. I'll show you this one. The other one's boring as sin. We'll just look at the images, don't worry. This is the studio environment testing. The other shot, I'll just take a picture of the studio so you can see it. But this is the studio environment. We've got the worst possible scenario for a studio photographer. Let me pop the modeling lights on so you can see what's going on here. We've got a hard specular key light hitting a bottle, which is dark with a bright label on a red plinth, no less, with a pastel green background. We then have a light coming directly into the lens, wreaking havoc. This is as tricky as it gets. We're at f16, 100 ISO, 125th of a second. If you look at the screen, you'll see we're getting a bit of catch lights in the window, but not too much. It's mostly a black frame. Then when I take the shot, turn the trigger on, take the shot, huzzah. There we go. The shot should come through. Let's see what we're looking like. Do we need to tweak anything? That's pretty bang on, actually. We're going to double check focus. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that'd be pretty sharp. We're way past 100% there. We're sharp. The shot's in focus. There's our first frame. That's my main camera done, the 90mm. The settings we'd use for studio work, we're now going to work through them. Now, this camera here has a whole magnitude of extra little niceties that these other ones don't. This can do so much more than we're currently asking of it. Really, it's doing the minimum of what it can do. It's just focused back and forth and taking a shot. It doesn't show you the true functionality of a camera like this. However, it does allow me just to get a basic image quality shot. We're now going to replicate it with each camera. I'm going to do it handheld. We don't need to worry about motion blur because flash. This is a manual focus lens, but it has focus confirm. I've got the 100mm Zeiss, the 5 DSR. Perfect. Let's check those coming through okay. Look good. Look a bit dark on the screen. Hard to see until we get it on the computer. Next camera. Now this camera oddly has more functionality because it has autofocus. This is my 5D Mark II. This here made my career. This is the big one. This is the one which really got me going. Same camera settings, but with autofocus. And then we have the camera that I shot my first professional work with, but I didn't own it. This was my mate's camera. I borrowed it from him. We had this particular lens as well. It's been so long since I've used this. There we go. Oh, that's a shutter. I mean, this just makes you want to shoot. This is beautiful. Screen's a bit rubbish, can't really tell. Can't tether it either because it's such old tech. But I mean, let me just get it close to the mic. Hang on. Can you hear that? That's a beautiful shutter. The viewfinder of this one is the best. The feel of this one is the best. We'll have to see on the image quality though. I'm going to go away and I'm going to shoot some boring shots of the whole room at high ISO. Meet me back at the computer. We'll go through the pixel peeping.
Welcome to the world of pixel peeping. Let's dive in. Let's do some nerdy stuff. Of course, these are different cameras. The software we're using wasn't really built for some of them. The lenses are all different, but that's kind of the point. We're seeing how far cameras have come. Let's start at the very beginning. 1DS Mark II. I've done a little bit of removing sensor dust because it looked like there's been a snowstorm in there, but apart from that, here's the raw file. You see the healing layer here. Look how dusty the sensor was. Yikes. Give that a quick blow before it goes in the post. But look how nice this looks. It's a nice image. We've got the haze coming in at the top from that light. We've got some specularity. It's a little bit hazy, I'd say. I say a little bit. It's hazy. Let's not beat around the bush. It's hazy. It's sharp. That's a sharp image. No sharpening's been applied here, by the way. What I'm going to do to each of these images is give them a levels adjustment because this is as important as looking at the raw file. What happens when we give it a little bit of that je ne sais quoi? Let's just give it a bit of this. I'm just going to do my usual thing to it. Always go for the punch. Bit of structure. There we go. I'm not going to try and match these. I'm just going to try and make each image look good in front of my own eyes because that's sort of what you want, isn't it? So into here, pre-sharpen 2. There we go. So here's our image. Here's what we've got. We've got a fair amount of sensor dust in here. This needs a sensor clean. That's pretty sharp. That's pretty darn good. This camera here was the first camera to out-resolve 35mm film. And that's a big thing, I think. Let's just go for the before and after. Straight out of camera, corrected. I mean, once you've added some contrast and sharpening, damn, that's a pretty good image. So let's move along. We go from there to the 5D Mark II. Let's give it the exact same sharpening. So I use this sharpening for everything really. So a little bit less sensor dust here. Bit more resolution. Let's go into my adjustments. Let's get that punch in. So we just bring that to there. So you've got a lot more highlights. Now here's the big difference. We need to go there. We need to there. See from the previous shot, all of this blown out from the haze. That's a combination of sensor latitude and lens. This is a better lens. This is a 100mm prime. That was a 24-70. Now, these cameras notoriously don't handle clarity very well. How do they do the structure? Pretty darn good. There we go. So we've gone, let's do before and after again. Where's my little slider? Look at that dust. Look at that. Look at that. There's an eyelash in there almost. There we go. Shot 1, shot 2. Substantial gains in image quality here in a studio setting. That is not up to the job today. That cannot do the job anymore. This looks good. But let's move along to the 5DSR, the high resolution camera. Look at this detail. Look at that. Let's again bring in the exposure. This was slightly under. Probably the lens, it was a non-Canon lens, so they probably measure their aperture slightly differently. This can eat clarity, like eats it. The more resolution you've got, the more clarity you can get in there. It's going to halo a little bit. Let's pull that back a bit. We've gone too far, people. We've gone too far. Let's head over here into refine. We'll add the same sharpening. It's just a generic pre-sharpening. We don't tend to sharpen images that much. Look at the before and after. Straight out of camera. Always came out warm with these. And then here, look at that crisp, sharp, struggling to load some rendering a 6K video in the background. I mean, look at that. Let's go and look at the label here. Obviously, we're not as close in because we don't have the resolution. Come on, you bad boy. There we go. It's pretty sharp. Even less resolution. No. It's pretty sharp still, though, isn't it? I mean, at 100% from there, 1DS Mark II, 5DSR when it finally resolves. I mean, it is more detailed. There is more resolution. This gets the detail marker. The lens isn't up to the job. That 24 to 72.8 is not up to the job. The dynamic range on the sensor isn't up to the job. Look at the browns here, the gradation in this bottle at the top. To here, it's held it a bit more in. Even better here. Now let's head over to this, the GFX. This is a very different file. This needs some warmth. Oh, too much warmth. It's got a bit too much magenta as well. Let's go back to the previous. That's very cool. That's very cool. These are all much cooler. Let's cool it down a bit then. Here's the way you start to get into trouble. There we go. Got that. Let's go and add a little bit. I'm just doing this roughly, by the way. We are on a calibrated monitor. I'm not going to match the colors perfectly. Look at the bottle here. This is the first thing that stands out to me whilst my computer slowly has a fit. Look at the detail, but look at the colors here. And we go back to the original one. This is showing more light coming through the bottle than this is. However, if we come into here, see these peaks here? We've got that detail there. It's all in there. We can bring that back. We can see inside the bottle, or we can, oh, that's too much. There we go. That's about right for me. Let's see what happens when we play with the midtones here. So we still got them there. We darken it down. See the color shift as well, though. We're struggling there. You can't do much with this file before it really starts to look edited. Now I'm going to pull this up a bit. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's nothing more than interesting. It's not a deal breaker. Every camera has its foibles. Let's look at the detail. I mean, obviously 100 megapixels. That is this is the sharpest shot for sure. This is the easiest to play with in post. This is the least sharp, but I mean, sharp is sharp. Once it's sharp, it is sharp. So there's that. Let's zoom this out to about the same place. I know you can go in and look at the letter, like if we come in and look at the edge of the letters and see if they're bleeding at all. And we can do the same here. Obviously, it's going to pixelate, so we're going to go too far in. This is where retouching really comes in as well. It's great that here's 100%, but if you need to like start drawing around something, it's better if you can make it here sharp at 100% rather than having to carefully go around these. This is where Rob goes, yeah, that's nice. The colors, look at the red. You see here, it's not got the same tonality. We go back to the 5D Mark II. And then the 1DS. It looks quite good on the 1DS. The 1DS has got good red tonality, actually. But look at the background here. You see these blotchy bits as well. It's not just haze that's coming in. It's also blocking out in places. Here's the thing, though. Apart from the first shot, from the 5D Mark II, see these highlights here? Slightly better control. That's the lens doing that. This is an older lens, and it's still got slightly better control. It's interesting. I think this one isn't good enough for this particular application, but with a different lens, it could be. But let's look at high ISO. So what we've done here is we've shot at 1250 ISO. That is the ISO that we used to shoot at for low light work. All these people going, I need good ISO, I need blah, 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 blah. Shush, shush. 1250 ISO, this is where we used to be. This was it. This was we're in a dark room, better have a fast lens. 5.6 this time. Zoom in and you can see, clips, highlights. I mean, at the moment, we're looking at an image. I mean, looking at this image by itself, I know people talk about this noise in the background. Do you know what I do with noise? I'll show you what I do with noise. This is why I never understand all these people talking about noise reduction. I like the noise. We see a bit of noise like this and we go, oh, yeah, let's add some harsh grain into that. Let's really bump it up. Nice. That's looking nice. This looks nice. This looks like a nice film photograph. I like this. Let's just see what we've got in the highlights. Is there anything? Oh, that's all there. I'm actually quite shocked at that. Let's just do a quick before and after there. Straight out of camera. Look at that window in the top right. Boom. That building's gone. Here it is. What are the whites hiding? Not a great deal. So I think this is good enough for documentary natural light available light. 5D Mark II. Yep, obviously I didn't get the window in this one because the lens is slightly longer. It's sharper. There's less noise. That's for sure. That's let's take the grain off this previous one. Let's go back into in style. No, it was within refine. Let's just turn the grain off. Goodbye, grain. We'll just go from there. Let's look at the noisy areas. Let's look down here in the shadow. This is where the noise happens. It's in the shadows. Let's compare it to here. It's under the table. See this little bit here? Still loading. Bear with us. Sharpness incoming. I mean, I don't have any complaints about the noise there. Got some dead pixels. You shan't worry about those. Like that. Is it disappearing? No, it's not. It needs mapping. I think that's okay. Let's look at this one here, the 5DS. Again, let's go back into the adjust. Let's just pull those highlights back, see what's still there. Substantial amount. I mean, it's sharper, isn't it, instantly? Let's look in these shadowy areas. Are they different? Are they? I mean, they look shadowy. There's no artifacts. There's no artifacts here. We'll look at the images in overall. So we've got the first one. I'd say it was pretty clean, pretty crisp. Bit more haze, could be camera angle though. Wider shot shows more. I don't think there's much in it with 1250 ISO. I mean, obviously sometimes we had to go up to 3200 ISO, but I'm a commercial photographer. We don't really go over that. What about this monstrous 100 megapixel beast? What's this got in the bag? How are we looking here in the shadows? Darker, that's for sure. What if we open the shadows here? This is, so how you introduce noise to an image, opening up shadows. And then let's do the same here. Let's open up these shadows. Can we see any reds and green? A little bit. We're getting some banding in there, maybe. Some like smushiness, lack of texture. This is keeping the texture better, more even. It's just loading again. Do apologize for the loading speeds. Hey, it's still not great though, is it? I mean, I'd say they're much of a muchness. Let's go back to the real beginning here. Let's just open up those shadows. Does it fall apart? A little bit more. A bit more. I will say that it is falling apart a bit more. I would say though, there's very little in it. I am a firm believer in noise. I don't understand this whole noise reduction thing. If you shoot in a dark place, the image should be noisy. You've all been marketed to believe that noise reduction and low noise is good. Low noise is great in a studio setting, but often Once we've got this lovely crisp thing here, what we do is we head over to here, we go into the film grain, we go to harsh grain, because you want it to look at, and then you smash it up and you make it look like a real photograph. So it's great to be able to get a crispy, clean image, but we want it to look a bit real, don't we? And I just don't think that noise is the issue that people think it is. I mean, I used to shoot, obviously, you all know me as a studio photographer, but for most of my career, I shot documentary, I shot live music. I've never worried about noise. I've never gone, oh, the noise doesn't bother me. The Fuji has better shadow recovery, a million dead pixels. This has the worst shadow recovery. In terms of pure aesthetic, I'd say for available light, the 1DS has it. This looks nicer. It's technically not as good, but it has the nicer feel. In terms of pure aesthetic in the studio, the Fuji has it by a country mile, but it just looks a little bit too sterile in natural environments. So there we go. What do you think?
If you made it this far, well done. What did you think? What do you think the big gains were? Where did you see the big differences? Was any of it worth it? Or should I have just not sold this old camera and just kept shooting on this? Was this enough? Is this all you need today to shoot anything? It's high enough resolution for any output. Do I really need a 100 megapixel technical camera with 6-7 lenses? Or could this here for £170 be my main squeeze?